Arminius, the betrayal that shook the Roman Empire. Genre: historical epic, political thriller. Setting: Germania and the Roman Empire circa 9 AD. Themes: loyalty, betrayal, cultural identity, revenge, empire versus freedom. Prologue: the wolf in the eagle's shadow. He was raised by Rome, trained by their legions, gifted with citizenship, a sword, and the name of a friend. But in the deep shadows of the Germanic forests, he remembered another name. Arminius, son of the Carusi. To the Romans, he was their golden barbarian, a loyal prince of a savage land polished by the empire's might. To his people he was a ghost, thought lost to Rome, but he had returned, and he brought with him Rome's arrogance and its doom. The eagle would fall in Teutoburg Forest, and the man who guided it there would become Rome's greatest nightmare. Chapter 1. Rome's favored son. In the heart of the empire, in the opulent city of Rome, the Germanic boy Arminius had stood as a symbol of conquest, a barbarian polished to Roman perfection. Taken hostage as a child under Augustus's policy of acculturation, Arminius was trained in Latin, warfare, and tactics. He earned Roman citizenship and a command in the Roman auxiliary cavalry, fighting in campaigns across the empire. By age 25, he was hailed as a model of loyalty. But beneath the polished bronze, his heart beat in the rhythm of Germania, wild, fierce, and free. When he was posted back to the frontier as an advisor to Governor Publius Quinctilius Varus, Arminius smiled. He was returning home, not to serve, but to strike. Varus was a Roman of the old guard, proud, educated, and dangerously overconfident. He viewed the Germanic tribes as little more than children to be tamed through Roman roads, Roman taxes, and Roman law. To him, Arminius was a bridge between worlds, a native prince turned Roman soldier. He trusted him implicitly. What Varus didn't know was that Arminius was no longer a man split between two worlds. He was one mind, one purpose, one burning mission. Freedom for Germania and vengeance. Arminius began a campaign of quiet diplomacy among the tribes. At night, in torch-lit groves and forest halls, he spoke not as a Roman commander but as a native son. Rome takes our sons. Rome taxes our land. Rome will not stop until every forest is paved, every god forgotten. But I have worn their armor, I know their weakness, and I will lead them into the jaws of death. It was the autumn of 9 AD. 3 Roman legions, 13th Senate and the Novum, marched east from their summer encampment. Over 20,000 soldiers, auxiliaries, and camp followers under the command of Varus moved through unfamiliar terrain. Their destination, a small rebellion reported by Arminius. What they did not know was that the rebellion was a lie, a trap, and they were walking into the black heart of Teutoburg Forest. Rain poured. The roads turned to sludge. Trees loomed like spears. The Roman column stretched thin, perfect for ambush. And then hell opened. Germanic warriors exploded from the woods, hundreds, then thousands, hurling javelins, axes, and fury. The Romans tried to form ranks, but the terrain was too tight. Their lines shattered. Varus realized the betrayal too late. "Where is Arminius?" he shouted. "He is home," said a dying centurion. The slaughter lasted 3 days. By the end, every Roman was dead or enslaved. The captured standards, symbols of Roman honor, were paraded through the Germanic tribes like trophies of the gods. Varus fell on his sword. The forests of Germania drank Roman blood. When news reached Emperor Augustus, it is said he tore his robes and beat his head against the wall, crying, "Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions." The loss was unprecedented. 3 entire legions gone. It was the greatest military defeat Rome had suffered in over a century. Rome's expansion into Germania halted. The Rhine became the new permanent border. The dream of a fully Romanized Germany died with Varus. And in the smoky halls of the Carusi, Arminius stood triumphant. But his victory was not complete. Arminius had united the tribes through hatred of Rome, but unity forged in war was brittle in peace. As the years passed, jealousy and tribal politics festered. The very people he freed feared his power. Some whispered he wanted to be a king, the very thing he had fought against. Even his own uncle Inguiomerus turned against him. By 21 AD, Arminius had survived multiple assassination attempts. The final betrayal came not from Rome, but from within. He was murdered by his own nobles, stabbed in the back by those too afraid of his rising influence. He died in obscurity, in the same forests where he had defeated the greatest empire on earth. Rome never forgave him. They hunted down the survivors, reclaimed their standards, and built monuments to bury the memory. But Arminius had done what no one else had. He didn't just defeat Rome, he humiliated it. Centuries later, the German people would reclaim him as a symbol of unity. The Hermannsdenkmal, a colossal statue of Arminius, still stands in Teutoburg, sword raised high. He was the Roman who betrayed Rome, the barbarian who broke the eagle's wing, the son who came home to burn the father's house down. And in the midst of the forest, if you listen, you may still hear the whisper, "Rome feared me, and I was never truly theirs." He was trained in the shadow of empire, but his heart beat for the wild gods. He wore the eagle's armor only to feed it to the wolves. Chronicles of Germania,